Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Rob Evans here from Dimension 3 Studios, bringing you a how-to video today. We're talking about studios and how to design yours, how to choose your studio. So if you could just hang with me just a minute, I'm going to bring you that right now. Yes, indeed. Lots of questions today. How do we choose our studio? How do we know what we need for a studio? Well, the first thing we got to do is we have to decide what's the purpose of your studio. What are you using your studio for? Are you making beats and you're making hip hop tracks and you're mixing them up? You're using headphones to mix them on. Then you're looking at a lot smaller space. You could do that in a bedroom studio. You can mostly stay in box. You don't need a lot of analog equipment. You're going to be mostly just bringing in samples, loops, mixing them up, bringing in a rapper, maybe doing some vocals on a microphone, and pretty much rendering the tracks and putting them out. If you're doing a blog studio or a vlog studio, I still haven't figured out what that's called. Is it a blog or a vlog? If you guys know, comment me on that. Uh, this is what I'm talking about, what I'm doing right here. Then you're looking at, again, don't need a lot of space, but you need to start looking at your cameras, what you're going to use for that, what you're going to use for your lighting, and you need to start looking at what software you're going to use specifically for, most likely you're going to be using OBS, but you're also going to be looking at, are you using this to mix different audio with your vlogs? Are you taking camera clips and you're mixing them, putting them together, and then you're talking out in the garden about your gardening? Most of that's going to be very set up on the fly. Like, you're going to have your cameras with you everywhere you go, and maybe you're going to be just taking video clips. Then you're going to come back into your studio. You're going to put all your clips together. Then you're going to render your video and put it out. Do you need acoustic treatment is another question a lot of people ask me. How do I know if I need acoustic treatment? Well, let's take my studio right here, for example. My studio right here is mostly meant for vlogging, and it's also meant for recording and mixing music. I plan on putting a new album out even later this year, or at least getting started on the recording part of it anyway. Therefore, a lot of the things that I'm recording, vocals, for instance, for this vlog, and maybe acoustic guitars, the sound in here was horrible. Originally, it had ceramic floors, very hard walls. It was very echoey. When you have a space that you're recording, say, audio like this, and then you're talking into a microphone, if it sounds wonky when you re-listen to it because you're getting all kinds of echo and feedback off of the sound bouncing off of walls or bouncing off the floor or bouncing off the ceiling, then you need to start looking at acoustic treatment. And there are videos on here that will guide you through just that portion of it. Mostly what I'm here to talk to you about today is how do you know what you need and what you don't need. For instance, when we're talking about monitors, people are like, what kind of monitors should I get? And can I do it over headphones? And, yes, and yes, you can do it over headphones, and yes, you can do it over monitors. It really depends on what you're aiming for, and it also depends on what your room size is and how it's acoustically set up. If you are playing music through monitors and you're mixing it and it sounds great and everything's great, but then when you go back to listen to it in the car, it sounds wonky or phasey or it sounds whatever. It's most likely because the size of the room and the acoustic treatments on the walls, you're hearing you're hearing it differently than what's actually being mixed. That's when you know that you need acoustic treatment. And then you're like, well, what kind of acoustic treatment do I need? And again, there's a whole bunch of videos on that. I'm not going to go too much into that today. I can tell you, I have 4 Braun L810 loudspeakers in a 11 by 14 room, which is bordering too small. But the way I set it up, I think it's going to be fantastic. I put bass traps down all the way across the room, down below on both sides. And then I also put acoustic treatment on the walls to help with the higher frequencies. So I have acoustic treatment for the lower frequencies down low and higher frequencies up high. So I'm getting a pretty dry, pretty natural sound out of my speakers, which is important. You need to make sure that you're not getting wonky echoes and, uh, bass that's overly enhanced due to the corners, or you're getting pressure in the corners and you're getting added bass building up in places that makes you sound like you have more bass in the recording than you actually have. We're not going to go too much into that today, but what we are going to do is we're going to talk about, for instance, do you need analog equipment or do you want to stay just in the box like Pro Tools or whatever your DAW is? Because a lot of DAWs, all you really need is an interface. If we're talking about just recording some guitar tracks, even drum tracks. Excuse me, I'm sorry guys, I'm still trying to get over this cold. Even some drum tracks on the interface, you can record drums as long as they're in a relatively isolated area and you have the right miking on them, and get some great drum tracks. My brother actually recorded his drums in his basement, and he had the mic set up in a way that he didn't get too much echo out of the basement. I'm not real sure how he did that because I would have thought he would have got a lot of echo from the basement. But they sounded fantastic, and there was some filtering I needed to do on the drums and kind of control some of the crosstalk between the drums. But you can, in a lot of times, you can pull off a lot more in a little space than what you think you need. And you also don't a lot of times need all these acoustic, tube amplifiers and all this stuff, because nowadays DAWs have digital, integrated simulated amps that do a great job, and you can actually get great mixes through those if you're just looking at recording some guitars and a bass and drums. You can totally work in box, and you can totally work through headphones monitoring it. You don't even need monitors anymore. What you can get by in a studio with now to produce an album is pretty amazing. All of it takes a little bit of practice, and all of it takes a little bit of forethought of what you want out of your studio. Like I said, my studio right now, I have it meant to mix quadraphonic and to have it set up as a surround system for music. And also, I have it set up to do this vlogging channel to help you guys answer questions and do the kind of videos that I do. That, by the way, hopefully you guys are liking what I'm doing. And if you are, hopefully you'll just hit that little subscribe button. It helps support the channel, and maybe give it a like. If you guys have any questions, if you have any comments, please shoot me a comment. I try and get back with you all reasonably quick. Anyway, in the meantime, I hope some of this helped you. I know it's probably not in-depth enough, and maybe later we'll do some more in-depth videos on acoustic treatment and monitors and, what's the best microphone. Maybe we'll do some reviews. Right now I'm using an MXL 990. It's not an expensive microphone, but it does the job, and I'm pretty happy with it. I've used it for many years, and I have several microphones, but this is kind of my go-to in the studio. I like the warmth of it, and I like the way it sounds. So, anyway, you guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and stay tuned because I got a lot more stuff coming. I've got some interviews coming from people that I'm going to be working with in the studio, and people that are friends of mine that I'm pretty excited to get in the studio. So anyway, have a great day, everyone, and take care, and hopefully we'll see you real soon. Bye-bye now.